So the other day I saw that new Harry Potter movie called Harry Potter and the Deathly Owls, and I gotta say there's only one little gripe that I have with the movie, and that is the title is misleading. Not only is there not many owls in it, there isn't any death by owls, so that was kind of upsetting, but that aside, this movie was amazing. Now, I gotta tell you guys, I'm gonna spoil a lot of the movie here. If you haven't seen it yet, don't watch this video, because I'm gonna talk about pretty much everything that happened from beginning to end. So, okay, for everyone that doesn't want this spoiled, let's turn this off, we can continue. Alright, the movie starts off, and let me tell you, this movie and the preview don't do it justice, because this movie is totally different than what you see in the previews. Because it starts off at Hogwarts. It's basically Harry, Hermione, and Ron. They're in that tower right at the top of Hogwarts, and they start taking each other's clothes off. They start engaging in this hot-ass three-way sex scene. Basically, Hermione gets on all fours, Harry starts taking Hermione from behind, and Ron's taking her from the front, and it's like, wow, this is pretty good shit. And it was actually some of the best shot pornography I had ever seen. I mean, this guy Yates that directed this film did a phenomenal job, and I mean, he could be a professional porn director. That's how good he was. But anyways, as they're engaged in this hot three-way sex scene, these big gigantic robots start stomping in, and Harry, Hermione, and Ron look up. They're like, "What's that noise?" It's like that scene in Jurassic Park where, you know, the Tyrannosaurus Rex gets near the car, and they look out the top of the tower, and they see these robots coming in, and like, these aren't like, you know, little like Terminator-sized robots. These are robots, they look like Terminators, only they're the size of like Godzilla. They're these big, behemoth building-sized robots. They come storming in, and Harry, Hermione, and Ron, they grab their wands and they start shooting spells out. And what they don't realize is that wizarding spells have no effect on robots. So, you know, they're kind of like, you know, pinging off the robots, and the robots are like, what the hell is this shit? So the robots raise up their big robot feet, and boom, they just step on Hogwarts. Harry dies, Hermione dies, Ron dies, Hagrid dies, Snape dies. Every single person in Hogwarts, every creature, every little insect, everything is dead. And this is just the first 5 minutes of the film. I gotta tell you, it looked amazing. I thought at first it was CGI, but it looked way too real. These had to be real, gigantic, life-size, building-size robots that they used in this movie. I mean, the sound effects were great, the effects and the explosions. It was just off the charts insane. That's how good it was. And pretty much from that point on, it's your typical robot taking over the world type movie. Because, I mean, this shows the robots, they start celebrating as normal robots would, with a gigantic robot orgy. I mean, a lot of clanging, a lot of metal on metal, a lot of sparks, you know, just your typical robot orgy scene. And, I mean, they did have reason to celebrate. They basically just wiped off an entire section of the wizarding world. But what the robots don't realize is there's the whole little underworld in the wizarding realm, and that is, of course, Voldemort and his people. They don't want these robots to take over their world, and the robots basically, you know, took care of Voldemort's problem, which was all the good guy wizards. So Voldemort researches a lot of the spell books, and he finds a lot of spells that are going to be effective on machines and robots, and he basically memorizes them all. Then Voldemort gathers up his troops, goes out, they go and find the robots. Voldemort lifts up his magic wand and begins to cast the first spell, but before he casts it, a robot comes down and squashes Voldemort. Voldemort's dead. Voldemort's people are looking around like, oh shit, what are we going to do? Voldemort just got killed by the robot, and before they can think anymore, splat, they get killed as well. So now the robots basically own the entire wizarding world. They kind of just roam around, they find out, you know, if anyone's left, and they actually stumble across this village of little blue people. They're known as Smurfs. Perhaps you guys have seen them. They had a little 1980s cartoon about them. And the Robot King approaches the little village of the Smurfs and says, "Hello, I'm the Robot King. I am now, you know, ruler of this land. We're here to kill you." And the Smurfs are like, whoa, 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 hold on. Let us, you know, let our leader talk to you. And they call out Papa Smurf, you know, the Smurf with the beard and the red pants, and that's his basically only, you know, significant thing that differs him from any of the other Smurfs. And he comes out and goes, well, Robot King, we don't, you know, have any beef with you. We just, you know, are humble little blue people. You know, we're not going to bother you, and you don't bother us, and, you know, we can just live here in, you know, happiness. And the Robot King's like, well, all right, you know, you really don't pose any threat to us. So, you know, the Robot King and Papa Smurf become good friends, and it turns into, like, you know, a buddy type film from this point on. It shows them, you know, going out drinking together, sitting around a campfire, bullshitting, and, you know, it's Papa Smurf talking to this big, you know, building-sized robot, and you get a real attachment to the movie. It touched my heart, and about an hour into the film, it shows the Robot King talking with Papa Smurf, and the Robot King has a question for Papa Smurf that he really can't answer. And the Robot King says, you know, I've seen you and your people, you know, live here, and I gotta wonder, why is there only one female Smurf? Like, it's that little Smurf called Smurfette, and there's no other female Smurfs. I mean, how do you guys procreate and make new Smurfs? And Papa Smurf's like, you know, I really don't know the answer to that. And for some reason, that angers the Robot King, and he takes his big robot beer and just crushes Papa Smurf with it. And, you know, the Robot King is, like, drunk off his ass this night. He just goes back to the Smurf village, bends over, and just takes a big, gigantic robot shit right on the Smurf village. Like, this big-ass pieces of stinking junk metal just come dropping out of the Robot King's ass and just flattens and crushes the entire Smurf village. There's just, like, blue blood dripping all over the forest. It was actually pretty cool. I gotta say, the special effects were done phenomenally on this scene. So from that point on, you know, it's the robots just, you know, living it up, partying, and, you know, more robot orgies, you know. But about a half hour before the film ended, you look, it's a shot off in the distance, and you see someone flying in. There's like a smoke trail behind, and the camera goes close up on it, and you're not going to believe this. It's Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. When they show his face, the audience in that theater just went nuts. And you see Buzz Lightyear, he comes flying in, he goes, to infinity and beyond. And before he finishes the sentence, a robot, boom, slaps him out of the air. He dies on impact. Basically, they show him kind of like flying around because he got hit initially and that killed him. But as he's flying away, they just show his limp carcass flinging through the air, and he just crashes into a mountain, and it's just one of the most magnificent explosions. Oh my god, it was absolutely breathtaking when Buzz Lightyear hits this mountain and explodes. And for some reason, after they show this explosion, they go down to a shot down on the ground. There's like this orphanage, like with like thousands of little orphan children. That shows them, like, you know, playing and just, like, you know, talking and being children and other shit. I'm like, why are they showing this? Well, then they show an outside shot of the village, and you see that they're at the base of a mountain, and from where Buzz Lightyear hit the mountain, it triggered an avalanche, and this big rush of mountain snow comes barreling down and boom, hits the entire orphanage, kills everyone in the orphanage. Oh my god, it really looks spectacular. As a matter of fact, I really think they wiped out an entire orphanage full of children for this movie, because I mean, the dead carcasses of the children looked so real after the avalanche hit. It was amazing. And so basically the movie from there, it's just, you know, like I said, it's your typical robot flick and another robot orgy, and it's about 10 minutes left in the film. They have one last robot orgy to celebrate the total domination of the entire world. And one of the robots accidentally sticks his robot wiener in another male robot's butt, and one of the robots is like, whoa, did you just have gay robot sex with me? And he goes, yes, I did. And the robots turn to each other and they high five, and then the movie ends. So all in all, it was a pretty good movie. I mean, I don't know what more a Harry Potter fan could expect from this movie. It was pretty much 100% based on what the book said. It followed the books to a T. It didn't, you know, cut any ends and leave anything out. The CGI was great. It was spectacular. And I basically just, you know, left the theater happy that night, went home and crushed up some Thin Mints and snorted them off a hooker's ass. True story. But you thought I was going to do a screamer there.